friends. It's lunchtime and I'm live. I come live once a month at lunchtime to work on the paper pumpkin kit. Wrapped in cheer is November's kit. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. The box gives you all you need to make these tags, which are awesome. I like tags, but I also like making cards. So I did make one tag kind of for the directions. The bow is a punch out and it's white, but I colored it cherry cobbler. But that's cute. I like that, but yeah, I'm going to make some cards. So if you aren't subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would like, subscribe, share. That really helps me get out there more so more people can craft along. So I'm going to turn the camera down. And we will get started. Let's silence my phone, get that out of the way. So in your box, you get punch outs enough to make 8 tags. You got, where are they? You got these little jewels to make little boxes, which can fit a gift card. They can fit a gift card. Those are nice, so I will use those. And you got sheets that have these tags. Enough for 2 different tags to go on each box. You get the greenery, which you have enough because you're going to put lots of greenery on things. You got wreaths. You got 2 different kinds of wreaths. There you go. And you got a sheet with bows, which I left 2 how they look on the sheet, and then I have 2 left. So I have 4 left. 2 that are white, 2 that are red, because I've got them in my kits. I like stencils, so I have been stenciling with this, and I've stenciled with this a little bit, but these are a little bit more fragile, but that's okay. I can still use them. So I've got 3 cards I'm going to make with you today. That side's a little bit cleaner. So my first card, which I haven't even made one yet, is I'm going to have to make my own designer series paper because these tags aren't quite big enough for designer series paper that this calls for. So I have a base that is 5.5 by 7 1/4. 5.5, 7 1/4, scored at 4 1/4. So you have that flat. Then you would need some designer series paper that is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. It would go right there. And then you need a piece that is 1 by 5 1/4, which is going to go right there. Okay, and then you're going to need a piece of white. I'm using basic beige that is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. That's going to go right here in the center. You will also need a piece of cardstock that is 1 1/4 by 3, scored at 1 1/2. So it's scored in the middle. And you need a piece of the same color cardstock, 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. And then you need a piece of, I'm using basic beige, white. This is 2 5/8 by 3 1/8. Okay, so I'm going to use this wreath on the front here. And this I'm going to put on here, but I think I'm going to do a little bit of blending with my blending brush. The color you get in the box, you get a little ink spot that is Mossy Meadow. You got a bunch of tags also in your kit to stamp your sentiments on. You got some twine. You got some glue dots, and you got some dimensionals. So those are all things that come in your kit. And if it's your first kit, you get a block. So the only thing you don't have is scissors to cut that twine. Okay, I'm going to put some Mossy Meadow on this basic beige. just to give it a little bit of color, because it's not designer series paper. I'm wondering, since I haven't made this card yet, I don't know. I'm afraid I'm really going to tear this up, but we're going to try this. We are going to try this anyway. So I got tape all over the place. So I'm just going to tape this like this so that I can protect everything else. Oop, that'll go over that. So we don't want that to be like that. We don't want that. You have to be careful with this kind of material, because these ephemera are very lightweight. They're typical ephemera, I guess. Typical that they are very lightweight. Like that. That'll work. I think that'll work. But I've got to be very careful, because I don't want to tear up my leaf. I just want to add a little bit to this. Now, if you have some greenery, you can totally put that on here as well. And maybe I should emboss this. That might be a possibility. That looks good. That looks good. Okay, I'm going to put this one over here. And still trying to be careful, because you only can use this a couple of times, and these little pieces start breaking off. That's from my past experience anyway. So I'm not going to do that right now, but you could emboss this. Okay, you could do that. Okay, so we got that. I'm going to take one of the tags, and I'm putting that right there on top, because this is my designer series paper for the front. So I'd love to know where you're from. I'm in Ohio. My home, though, is Alaska. I grew up there. My first 25 years were there, and then my husband and I got a wild hair to move, and we moved to Ohio. And yeah, not the same at all, but it does have some very pretty places. But it's pretty flat. Lots of farming. We did go yesterday with my daughter, grandkids, and son outlaw, and went to a place called Westminster Farms in, where was it? I keep on wanting to say Sydney, Ohio, but that's not correct. It wasn't Sydney, Ohio. Oh, I did that wrong. Whew, good thing I caught that. Wrong. This goes first. This little flap is like your mechanism. You need that to go down first. Okay. And we need this on both sides. Glue on both sides. Okay, I want to put that on here in the middle, about the middle, and then lay this down on here. Let's try that again. Got a little bit of glue, but that's okay. And then that would be going on here. But that you want to kind of center it. I like that this paper, the one tag has got lines, so that helps. Now I am going to put this on here. A little bit of glue. That's probably too much. I have a fine tip one, but of course I'm going with this one. I like this ephemera stuff. So that goes like that. And if you are a subscriber of Paper Pumpkin, every quarter they come out with dies that coordinate. And this has the word joy, a tag, greenery, and a flower. But I'm going to use the joy. that I die cut. And that's going to go right here. You'll open this up. This will have something else on it, but I want to put the joy right here. Let's have some joy. Yeah, so we went to this Westminster farm, and we had the 5 to 7 slot, and it's a very small farm, but they have all kinds of animals. It's very cool. Very cool. I do have to put a ribbon right there. Where did I had my twine. There it is. There's my twine. The first thing that we got to interact with were these pigs. I don't remember what kind of pigs they were. They were ginormous, as my daughter would say, ginormous. And I think I cut that way too long. We're going to cut this shorter. Cut that too long. And it stuck to my finger. And it's still sticking to my finger. Oh my goodness. But there were 2 pigs. You didn't know there were 2 pigs because the one was so ginormous that it hid the other one. The big one came out when she jiggled like the food container, of course, and that's why that one's so big. You know, we could feed the pig, pet the pig, big pig. And I was telling her about my experience in the Bahamas with going and seeing the swimming pigs. Much smaller than this pig, but anyways, it was kind of cool. So after we saw the pig, then we went over to see this, I think this owl is from, I'm trying to think if it's Africa or where it is. Most of these animals, I wouldn't say come from the United States that they have. The horses did. But anyways, it's like the second largest wingspan of any bird, flying bird, is this owl, which I put pictures on my Facebook page. It was pretty cool. You didn't get to touch it, but you got to get pictures with it and all that. So that was very cool. So there's that piece. I like how that works. That works. Okay, this piece is going on the front right here. And I think I'm going to try and do this again. Just put a little bit of greenery on here, and I don't need any tape. I just want a faint kind of look on that. Oh, there's another. I forgot. There's one right there. I left a wreath in here. I thought I was short one. Okay, so there's that. And then I am going to put, I think the stamp set has Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas. It has a wreath, From Our Home to Yours, a to and from, gift for you, and with love. And I'm pretty much using just Merry Christmas. That is what I am using. So let us see. Merry Christmas. With some red. I'm trying to clean this off a little bit. Red will always dye your stamp, but it does not affect the quality of your stamping. Now this would be good to emboss too, but I'm not going to do that because I have other embossing to do. So I'm going to put that on there. I like Mossy Meadow. It's a pretty good Christmas color. So, well, hey, Tracy. So we'll put this on here. Okay, and then we got the inside, which this is going to be what you're going to put your inside sentiment on. This is going to be another designer series paper. So you got it. I am going to do this again. This is the one. This one's still in pretty good shape. But I think I'm going to do this one because I just like the leaves better. That works good. You know, the problem I have with the Wink of Stella is awesome. And what I do is I always keep a block around me. Must not have enough on there. I think it's getting too thick. That is good. Let me put my lid on that puppy. I just squeeze a little bit in. That's not really super wet. I'm not going to press it down, so hopefully I can not make a complete mess. I usually like to do the Wink of Stella ahead of time before I start putting the card all together, so that if I do have a blob, it'll dry, or I can use a heat tool to dry it. So there we go right there. There's that. And then this is going to have sending a little Christmas cheer. I think they think about this for, you know, if people do want to put this into a card. I'm not doing anything else with that. I'm just going to glue it. And I might put some elements on it. Let's go the right way. And this should, let's try and get it up about the same height. They're supposed to both be 5 1/4, but I think I'm off a little bit. Okay, so there's your card. I think that's a cute card. And I've got some of these. Seems like for a while they were getting away from using much in the way of these embellishments, and I'm glad that now I'm starting to see more embellishments in the kits because I like them. So there's card number 1. So I'm using the die from the quarterly dies, the ephemera, one of the tags, the twine that you used, and using the punch outs to do a stencil. So there's card 1. Now card 2. Put that away. What are you drinking for lunch? I'm having iced tea. Iced tea is my drink of choice. First coffee, then iced tea. This one I am going to emboss. Very simple card. Very simple. I'm going to put that over there. And the white is going to get embossed with, you guessed it, this is the punch out for all the bows. So you just need to put it how you want it. I just want to put this like this. Ooh, that doesn't, I don't want to cover the white though. I don't want to cover my cardstock. That's the hard part. Just want to kind of keep it in place. So I have to hold it. Got my cherry cobbler out. Like that. Oop, that's too dark. And red's definitely can be too much. Okay, so there is that, but I'm going to emboss this, so we shall see what it looks like afterwards. Let me put that down, close this. I'm using the swirly embossing folder, which is this. So that's a neat little embossing folder, and I'm just going to do this over here real quick. I like this because you don't have to keep your image straight on this one. I've got the plaid embossing folder, and when you have lines, you really want to keep it level. So there you go. There's the embossing. What do you think on that? You finally finished last month's kit? You're drinking ginger ale with a turkey sandwich. Yeah, I'm not eating yet. I don't know what I will have. I'm just going to put a little bit of cherry cobbler around the edge. There's that. Now, see, this is where my issue will come, I'm sure. One of many issues. So I'm trying to get this a little bit more wet because it's a little thick. There comes a drop. Okay. I do like Link of Stella. That I do. Okay, so now I got to dry this. And I'm going to use my heat tool. So that's got to dry. This is really wet. It's not completely good, but that's okay. Get that over there. I've got a piece of thick basic white. I don't want to use this paper. This is not a good one because it's got wink all over it. We will get a different piece. There we go. I've got thick basic white, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I've got cherry cobbler that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I have not embossed it. For the most part, this is a pretty simple card. Pretty simple. So I did do a little bit of splattering with Stampin' Right markers, which are being discontinued. They are stopping those. I really like them. Really, really like them. That one just looks, that one looks really, really wet. I am going to use that silicone craft sheet. Put some glue on it. Oh yeah, look how wet that is. We'll put that over there and put this on here. It does take a hot minute to dry. This is 4 by 5 1/4, I think. I'm going to actually turn this around. No, yes. No, yes. It's still pretty wet, but it's getting there. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is got my bow that I colored with my blending brush in cherry cobbler, and I am going to put my Merry Christmas. I guess maybe I should mix it up. Maybe I should use the Happy Holidays. I haven't used it yet. So I haven't used the gift for you, but I would use that for my gift box. Do you like making tags, Tracy? He didn't interact with the animals much. He didn't like hold them. He petted some, but yeah, he did not get all that involved. He pet, I don't even know if he pet the pig. I just don't know if he did or not. But when we went, I'm trying to think what all we saw outside. We saw the pigs, we saw the owls, we saw the goats, we saw the donkey. There's that. That's going to go right here on dimensionals. which they gave me mini ones, but I'm trying to use up, if I can find them. I had like an already used one, but I don't know what I did with it. So I guess we are using this. That donkeys, they have a natural cross on the back, on their back. I did not know that. I thought that was pretty cool. These were miniature donkeys, though. They were smaller than a regular donkey, not big enough to hold an adult. But they all like food, so they give you a lot of like leafy greens for them, and you know, vegetables, that kind of thing for their diet. They really watch their diet. I need the glue dots, which, where did I put those? Where did I put my glue dots? I don't know. So I'm going to use my roll because they're here somewhere, but I don't know where they are. So they are very particular about what they eat, and they really have to monitor their health because they can get different kinds of infections and stuff. You have to wash your hands all the time if you want to pet them. So cute, though. They were really cute critters. I know one of the goats, he wouldn't come down with the other goats. He was a little bit smaller, and she said, yeah, he knows, because if he comes down, the bigger goats will butt him, will headbutt him with their heads, and they have nice big horns. So he stays up higher on a raised. It's probably raised about 2 feet, 3 feet high. So we were throwing stuff to him. I think it was, I don't know if it was chunks of zucchini or what it was, but so there's that card. Easy, really easy. Just add a little bit of, well, hi, Nina Williams. Yeah, I do that a lot. I like stencils. So there's that card. The first card, I did use stencils again I used the leaves just for a faint look. This is the die that comes with the quarterly with the set if you subscribe to it. And I did some here since we don't have DSP per se to use. Now, the fourth card I have is, let's see, we need a card base. It's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 2 3/4 and 5. So I did make that one once. Now this one, I cut the tag, okay, and I just eyeballed it, completely eyeballed it, so that I'd have enough to stick at the bottom and stick at the top. That was my goal. I embossed this. This piece is, I think, 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Yes, it is. So we will put these pieces on here. This goes on the bottom, Donna. Remember, this is bottom and top. So I'm just kind of looking at the line like that. Oh, that's not straight. I mean, it's not in the middle. We want it in the middle. Let's move it up a little bit. Come on, let's get it straight. There. Okay, that's good. I'm happy with that. But so that's why it's like, if people aren't interested in tags, you could totally make this into cards. I don't want to get, I barely had enough room on the other cards. So let's just kind of move this over a little bit. I think that's good. I think that works. I don't think I did anything. Nope, I didn't do anything to that. So I need to put adhesive on the back of this and this, but not all the way. Let's not mess up. How much do we want? We want right here. Embossing, to me, stencils, I like all that stuff for added dimension, especially if you don't have all the things. Not everybody has an arsenal of craft supplies like some of us do. And I'm not a hoarder, and if anybody says so, well, I don't think we can be friends. Oops, oops, oops. Let's get straight, 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 straight. Pretty straight. Yeah. Okay, so this piece is just a shy under the 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 because I want it to mirror this. right, and go down. And actually, I didn't do what I said I did originally. Originally, because I made a hot mess, I put a piece of white underneath it. But I don't think it matters because it still kind of stands out. So we've got a bow. Okay, so we have this. We need to stamp on this, and I'm gonna put greenery on. I am not gonna listen to what I did originally and use the bow. Let's add some green to this. What do we think? Do I like that one? You know, I kind of like, I don't know if this will make a darker green on this or not. No, because the other leaf seems to have some, I'll show you if you can see it. It's kind of got some lights and darks greens in it. I think this one's just dark, dark, dark. Okay, well, I'm going to put some glue on this. I could still put this bow on. I could still do that. I could still do that. I know some people don't like to do kits because they're not, I guess they're maybe a more savvy crafter, but I like to try different things with them. And I know Tracy can really up her game. Okay, so we got that. Do we want that like that, or is that too much? Because that could totally go like that. Totally. I wish I knew what I did with the glue dots. They were just here. Just here. There they are. Found them. These are what come in the kit. I use these for my card parties too, because I have sheets of them, because I usually use my roll instead. These are smaller too. These are smaller than the ones that you get on a roll. So I'm going to put that like that. I just want to make sure it doesn't stick out of the card, where the card is. And now I need my Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. That works. And that, oh, I kind of smeared that. And these little dimensionals work great on this. Yep, the S got a little smeared, but that's okay. Oops. So there is, I'll do it down here. Oh, what else did I get to hold? Gosh. Capybara. They had 2 juvenile capybaras that are kind of the size of, I'm trying to think. They're not as big as my golden retriever. They're probably like the size, geez, I'm trying to think what a medium-sized dog would look like. But I think these capybaras were, I don't know, 8, 9 months old. So they weren't really old. This is what this vanilla is going to do. It's going to mirror that and get glued on there. And then I got to put my other thing on. So which side do I like better? If you have like a ridge on your paper from cutting it, because maybe you're pressing too hard like I do, use your bone folder and that'll smooth it out. Okay. This is going here. And we'll close that out. But the capybara there, I'm trying to think. I know I posted pictures. They're bigger than like the standard poodles or the regular size poodles. They're bigger than them, but they're definitely not as big as my golden retriever. So I'm going to lay that here, put some glue on it so I can line it up, because I don't want it to be seen until you open the flap. Let's get that kind of straight. Lay it down. lift it up. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And now we'll do our bow, our twine. Gosh, I've got 2 places I could put a bow, you know. I could put it up where the hole is, which that's where I was planning on doing it. Let's see. So we got to hold the capybara. We got to hold a white skunk. What do they call her? Laverne? I think they call her Laverne. She was a pet that somebody had, and they couldn't take care of her anymore. She's pretty lackadaisical, though. I mean, she was pretty chill. She was already deskunked, so she didn't. Her gland to make stink she didn't have that. All the animals, when they come there, as long as they're healthy enough, they get spayed or neutered. And so we got to hold the skunk. She was really a cuddler. They had 2 prairie dogs, which you couldn't hold, but they were really cute, and they were running all over the place. And I got pictures of them crawling up on my daughter. She was holding Laverne, and it was really cute. I mean, they were going crazy with my daughter. So, Wink of Stella might look good splattered on that red, too. And I need to put some embellishments on. I think I might have, I don't know if I have another card or not. I know I have multiple cards that I've made, but I'm going to use these all up. They aren't even going to go on any boxes. There. That's really cute. I think I like the green better. I think I do. What do you think? I think I like the green better. But that's those 2. So this was my original card that I stenciled on. Then I made this one in embossed red. And then I made the green. Should have embossed that, but that was plain. And my very first card, see, I didn't get the tape all the way, and so I got a line. That's why you gotta really be careful when you're stenciling. Because I just wanted a bow on there below the wreath that I also did stenciling on. So, but that's a pretty nice, simple card, just with the die cut joy. So anyway, I hope you guys give this kit a try or do some of these cards. They're easy peasy, and I will try and put the measurements actually in the description of this one. So anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your lunch hour and a great rest of your week. I'll be on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with my regular card stuff. So thanks everybody for watching. And you like them both, Tracy? Yeah, I mean, I like them both, but I think I just like the green better. There's more contrast, I think. That's why I like that. This green, I think I like that. I like this leaf better because it has different shading in it. But anyway, they're cute cards. I like them. Who knows who's going to get them? So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Oh, I didn't tell you all the other animals. Sorry, I can't end yet. So we didn't hold the prairie dogs, but they were very curious and very excitable. They had Lorraine, the skunk. Her cubicle mate was a rabbit that was missing the legs on his right side, I think. They partnered together well. They also had a black rabbit that somebody, I think it was the gal that did the tour, she brought it in because it needed more socialization with other animals. They had a possum that was about 6 months old, and it was like almost like in a little hat. You didn't get to hold it itself, but you could hold it in its hat. And it was really cute. Their feet are so soft, and their hair is actually soft, even though you'd think that they would be kind of bristly. The capybaras, they were bristly. Their hair was not soft. But we got to hold those. And then we went out and met the zebra again and got to feed the zebra, got to feed the 3 horses. The ostrich you could not feed and you couldn't touch. Ostriches are trouble. I'm just telling you from experience. I've been on a different tour with ostriches, and yeah, their brain is the size of a walnut and their intelligence is even less. It was trying to eat the metal trim on the gate for the pen that it lived in. Um, but so we got to see that. We got to interact with otters. They were, I don't know, from South America. They were much smaller. Definitely don't compare to the otters in Alaska because they're massive. But we got to play with the otters. We got to feed, oh, those really hairy cows, the ones that are red, Highland cows. Is that what they're called? Horns. They're pretty massive, but really cute. They have really cute faces. Got to pet them and feed them. They were very social. We got to interact with the kangaroo. There was one that was very social and liked to be petted and was very curious. They had like, I think five kangaroos. I know I'm missing stuff, but it was very cool place to go. It's Westminster Farms, about 2 hours north from us. We live in Springfield, so up past Columbus. So anyways, very cool place to go. It took Katie, she had to book 6 months out. So they are very popular and they do private groups. So when you book a group, if it's only two of you are in the group. She booked for 4, possibly 6, because she wasn't sure how John would do. Like I said, he did okay, but he got very tired. He was very tired. And then of course it got over at 7 and we went to a Mexican restaurant, ate late, drove 2 hours home. So we were bushed. So anyway, I'll see y'all on Thursday night at 7 p.m. So you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. I get the grandkids today. So I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching. Bye.